What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Being Beautifully Honest channel and podcast. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you know whenever a new episode is uploaded. So recently, Dave Chappelle, who a few months ago went viral because of the controversy that was surrounding his Netflix special and some things that he said that a lot of people, well, I don't want to say a lot, but a number of people in the LGBTQ plus community was not very fond of, and they really wanted Netflix to scrap his special and pull his special off of Netflix, but they didn't do it. They stood by Dave Chappelle. Netflix stood by him, and it just went forward, and it's still there. And you move on to talk about something a different day, a different subject, a different news story, or a different situation or person that has now become the issue. But Dave Chappelle, he's back in the news, and this is around something that a lot of people have different views on. And I just wanted to talk about this story and get your thoughts on it, because I don't really know what the answer is. But Dave Chappelle, in his hometown in Ohio, he showed up at a meeting because they had some plans to build some affordable housing, and he had a $65 million investment in the area, and he threatened to pull it if they move forward with it. So this news story, it comes from the Sandra Rose blog, as well as some other news outlets that I got this story from. So I'm just going to give you the story and then share some of the commenters' comments and get your thoughts. So the story reads, Dave Chappelle and others forced the city council to scrap plans for affordable housing by threatening to pull his $65 million investment. The A-list comedian showed up at a city council meeting in Yellow Springs, a village in Ohio, and threatened to pull his $65 million investment if they went forward with the plans. According to reports, the city council members proposed a plan to build, quote, affordable housing. However, Chappelle objected to the plan because it would attract undesirables and interfere with his investments in the area. Chappelle, who has an office in the village, planned to open a restaurant and a comedy club in the new development south of the village. The council held a meeting on Monday to vote on the proposed project. So Chappelle showed up at the meeting and threatened to pull his $65 million off the table if they approved the housing project plans. The city council expressed concern that legal action if they didn't go forward with the plans to build affordable housing. I don't know why the village council would be afraid of litigation from a $24 million a year company while it kicks out a $65 million a year company, Chappelle said. I cannot believe you would make me audition for you. You look like clowns. I'm not bluffing. I will take it all off the table. That's all. Thank you. So according to Vlad TV, the Yellow Springs City Council voted 2-2 on the proposed affordable housing development that would have included 64 houses, 52 duplexes, and 24 townhomes. Now that the housing project has been scrapped, the new plan is to build 143 single-family homes with prices starting at $300,000. Hardly considered affordable housing for some families. And someone tweeted, so at the end of the day, the only thing that changes is there won't be any affordable housing. The company will still build condos. Chappelle will still have the restaurant and comedy club. Parentheses, both will bring more traffic to the village, and they just didn't want the pores around, quote unquote. In a number of news outlets, they have the headline, Dave Chappelle kills affordable housing. Dave Chappelle helps quash affordable housing plan in his Ohio hometown. Dave Chappelle threatens to pull Ohio investments over potential nearby housing development. And it's a lot of negative press surrounding Dave Chappelle's impassioned speech at this city council meeting and his threat to pull his investment. But his rep came out and made a statement about this and basically, came to his defense, of course. And the rep says Dave Chappelle didn't kill affordable housing. Concerned residents and a responding village council killed a half-baked plan. which never actually offered affordable housing, a spokesperson tells Yahoo Entertainment. Without question, Dave Chappelle cares about Yellow Springs. He's sewn into the fabric of the village. The passion with which he delivered his comments during the village council meeting was just as evident as when he fought to create living wage jobs with his famed summer camp for residents during the height of the COVID pandemic. Neither Dave nor his neighbors are against affordable housing. However, they are against the poorly vetted, cookie-cutter, sprawl-style development deal, which has little regard for the community, culture, and infrastructure of the village. The whole development deal, cloaked as an affordable housing plan, is anything but affordable. 3 out of 143 lots would have been for future affordable housing. The rest of the homes were to be priced between $250K and upwards of $600K. In Yellow Springs and in many other places, that is not considered affordable housing. Instead, it's an accelerant on the homogenization of Yellow Springs. So look, I'm not familiar with the area, but it's one of those things that we say the government can't do everything, but they should be responsible for a whole lot of things in terms of regulation. And some of the things that they do, it's just kind of crazy how they do it. And the housing market is one of those things that is not really regulated. They regulate the banking industry, but when it comes to home prices and things like that, it's tough because those of us like myself who are homeowners and have been homeowners for many years, it's the reverse side of the coin where it is like a blessing when a house that you bought many years ago now is worth about double what it was when you bought it over 10 years ago. But for those who are in search of homes and want to buy their first home or in search of housing that is quote unquote affordable, not all affordable housing means a housing project. and I think that it was a play on words when they were talking about the housing project, because it's not like they were building like the typical back in the day projects that, would be in the hood and that type of element. It's not that. It's just a project where it's homes that are going to be built and they have a specific style, specific type, the range of prices of what it's going to be. And of course, we know the lower the prices for the homes, the less quality that is going to go into the materials that are used to be built to build the homes out, as well as it's just the way it is. So don't judge the messenger here. But when you have homes that are lower in price in neighborhoods, then it does tend to attract a certain element of people where you're not going to get that if you are in a community where the homes are 600 plus and up. That's just the way it is. And no, I'm not saying that people who live in homes that are 600 plus and up don't have criminal element in their family, or people that are less than desirable and those different types of things. No, I'm not saying that. But the chances of you being in a neighborhood where the houses are not as quote unquote affordable, you're not really going to have a whole lot of issues with the neighbors as you would when the home prices are lower, or over the years, the neighborhoods change, people die out, people retire, move away, or, they have an increase in their income and their lifestyles, and then they move from that neighborhood that was more of the middle class price range to an upper class gated community and those different types of things. So then the elements in the neighborhoods change, and those different types of things happen too. But was Dave Chappelle wrong for opposing what they were trying to do? If he had a $65 million investment in this community for things that he was looking forward to seeing happening, it's his investment and it's his right to feel the way that he feels about it. And so I don't really believe he did anything wrong. And from the comments that I've seen, yeah, there are some people that are just like, F you, Dave, you're no good. I could tell by the comedy that you did back in the day on the Chappelle show when you were just making making fun of primarily the African American community. And I've said that before too, but I mean, that's what it is. And people watched it and laughed at it, and it made him a whole lot of money. That's how he made his money. But you all watched it. I didn't really watch this show. I've just seen clips of it. And yeah, Ashley Larry and him playing the crackhead and all those different types of things. Like, yeah, that's how he made his money. But most people who do that, they don't want to live in those areas. And that's his job. He's a comedian. He's not an activist. He's not those people who are the leaders of the Black Lives Matter movement, and they claim to be about Black Lives Mattering as long as they don't have to live around the Black lives and making a lot of money off of that quote unquote movement. But I don't know. Did he really do anything wrong? Look, it's his money, and if he was not made privy to those things happening before he made such a large investment, then I think he has the right to feel the way that he wants to feel about the money that he made to invest in a community that he knows to be a certain type of way. And so he obviously is not living in the hood, period. One of the persons that commented on the blog article that got a lot of likes and people commenting on it was someone that said, "Great job, Dave Chappelle. You saved your community. I bought a condo when I was 24 in a nice working class, safe Caribbean neighborhood. Years later, an affordable housing complex was built next door, and they started breaking into cars at my condo's building and the church across the street. Our HOA had to build a security entrance gate, but it still wasn't safe to take night walks alone as I did. People should live where they can afford. In other words, don't force the hood onto nice neighborhoods. I was born in the hood, and I lived there through my preteens. My dad recovered from alcoholism, worked hard, several jobs actually, saved, and moved us into a nice, safe neighborhood. Stop forcing the hood on nice, family-friendly neighborhoods and all the crime that comes with it." So I read that comment to share the sentiments of a lot of people. A lot of people feel that way. They just don't really want to say the quiet part out loud, because when people say that, those who feel a certain type of way about primarily African Americans, but look, we know it's not just African Americans that are not able to afford higher price homes, because a number of them can these days, but still, when some people say that quiet part out loud, then some people see it as offensive, or you are a sellout, or you are just not down for the struggle. And look, some people who have struggled all their life, they worked very hard to get out of that so that they don't have to struggle anymore. And then when they have their families don't have to struggle the way that they had to struggle. So if people have worked hard to move out of that space and they don't want to be there anymore, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I can understand some people's feelings about feeling a certain type of way of how they view Dave Chappelle's comments and thinking that, well, he's a sellout or whatever. He's too far in his many years of being who he is in his career and all the work that he has put in it to earn what he has earned to be a sellout. Most celebrities, and not just celebrities, but most people who have worked very hard to get to a certain financial status, they're not going to stay living in the quote unquote hood because it's not safe. It's just not. But we also know that people who live in the hood, they don't just always stay in the hood. They go to try to at least go to the nicer affluent areas to try to rob and steal from those who have. I mean, how often can you take from the have-nots? So it's just one of those things that it's like, look, I don't have the answer. I don't really know who does, but I just wanted to share this story and get your thoughts. Do you think that Dave Chappelle did anything wrong by threatening to pull back his investment based on the plans that they had for this quote-unquote affordable housing, the developments that they had planned to build in the area where he had a $65 million investment put down? It wasn't like he just lives in the area and he heard about it and he came to the city council meeting to say, look, I live here and I don't want that around here. So if you continue to move forward with it, then I'm moving away. No, he is a businessman. He had a very large stake in it, and I believe he has the right to share how he feels about it. It's business. It's not personal. But anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comment section. Thank you so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And until the next time, I'm just being beautifully honest.